Hi everyone, welcome to Creative Suite TV. This week we're going to work on some astrophotography brought to you by my brother James. You can check out his work at deepspaceplace.com. So anyway, he's a fantastic astrophotographer and takes some great images, as we can see behind me here. And he's recently taken a sequence of images to create a time lapse. A great time lapse out in country Victoria. So, the only trouble is, made a rookie mistake and left the auto white balance on. So there's some flickering. So as we have a look at the scene, you can see it changing white balance settings. So this tutorial is all about how to fix that up. And it's a little bit of a noodle scratcher. So pay attention how to fix up a white balance on video tutorial here in Photoshop CS5. Okay, we're going to start this tutorial right from the start. Before we do that though, you need to know that you need to have Photoshop CS5 extended for this tutorial because it has the 3D and the motion or video capabilities in it. Photoshop standard does not. We're not going to be using 3D, but we will be using the video. So, step one. Go to File and we just say Open. Now what I have here is all of the images taken by my brother James in sequence. You can see I can scrub through here. There's a ton of images in here. All we need to do though is select the first one. Provided they've been numbered in sequence, we're going to be okay. So from here what we do is select Image Sequence, and it's going to read them all in a row. So we've got image 8543 image sequence here, and it's going to load them all up into Photoshop as a video. So I just go ahead and press Open. We get to enter in a frame rate. I'm going to use the frame rate of 25 frames per second, and then all of a sudden we have our video. Make sure you choose the motion workspace so you can see the animation timeline down the bottom here, and I can go ahead and scrub through this video and we should be able to see all the nerds running around in the foreground, and also the fact that the white balance has not been set correctly. So you can see back over here we have quite a warm color somewhere in between, and then quite a bluey white balance set over here. So the intention here is to even that all out. I quite like this color the best. We're going to use that as our starting point, and all we need to do is to sample that. I guess another thing, I'd like to sharpen this up a little bit. These are straight off the camera, so we'll give them a little sharpen. So what we'll do is come over here to the layers, and we're going to choose Convert to Smart Object. That's good. And then we're just going to run a filter of Unsharp Mask. So you can fiddle around with the settings for Unsharp Mask. So we just come down here to Sharpen. I'm going to suggest Unsharp Mask is the way to go. And sharpen it up a little bit. Go ahead and press OK. So the next step that we're going to do is to even out all of this white balance. So we need to make sure that we do that. We're going to sample the color. Okay, so that's the color we want. We're going to use the eyedropper, and I can just click and hold my mouse down, drag over till I get the color that I'm after. That's it there. Loads in as my foreground color over here. Now all we need to do is add a new color. So a new color layer, and we're going to use this little neenish tart down the bottom here and select solid color. Okay, and that's just going to give us a brand new blank solid color layer. And then the way we apply that over the top of the image, or the video underneath in this case, is to choose the color blend mode. So you can see we've got color blend mode down the bottom, and then that is going to neutralize the, well, first of all the entire sky, but also the rest of the image as well. Okay, so that's a good step. We need to bring the color back in from the underlying layers. So what we're going to do, we're going to create a really quick little mask here. Don't worry about the trees around the bottom section. So I just use the lasso. We'll press Refine Edge. I do this just to whenever I want to feather a selection a little bit, just so I can see how much I'm feathering. Go ahead and press OK. and then we'll choose the layer mask over here on the color fill, and we'll get black as our foreground color, and then Alt Delete. So we're just filling that bottom section so that reveals the underlying layer color. So we're happy enough with the colors down the bottom here because things are racing about, we won't really notice. So that's fine. Now the only problem with that is, and we can scrub through and we can see, yay, the colors all fixed in the sky there. We're not going to have any problems with that whatsoever. So that's all fixed. We're happy with that. The only trouble is if we zoom right in and we want to do a really high def version of this, some of the stars are in fact planets, and some of them have got a bit of color to them. There's some red over here, there's some blue over here. Some of the planets, like Mars or whatever, have got little bluey, greeny tinges to them. We want to keep that, but when we do our overlay, we're not keeping it, are we? We're losing it. So here's the extra tip. All we're going to do on this layer is double click the layer, not on the name or anything like that, just right on the blank part of the layer there. And we're going to say this: the underlying layer, please bring the white pixels back to the very light pixels back in front. So as I drag this up, I will then bring that subtlety back in. Okay, so if there's any subtle color in this, and I'm just try and find a little bit of a spot for you, we can bring the subtle colors of the stars back in. So because they're moving, okay, we need to do this as a global thing. So we bring the underlying layer up, and then we can use the little trick, which is the Alt, the Option key down, to split that in half so that we can reveal through the pixels underneath, so we can get that little bit of subtle color back in, and we can play around with this as much as we like. How much do we bring in? We don't need to bring tons in, just a little bit, and then we should be right now. This will give us a much more realistic look. We press OK, and now we're ready to render it out. So we can just do a quick little, just have a quick little look through this in Photoshop, and I'll render a video out. But there's a very quick look at how to fix the white balance in a time-lapse astrophotography sequence. Thank you, James, for all of your wonderful images.